I welcome you all in the today's session, which is going to be taken up by advocate on record Vandana Sharma Bandari ma'am, who is also an arbitrator. Ma'am, if you permit, I would like to briefly introduce yourself, and then you may take up with the today's session.
Yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
well,
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to inform everyone that today we have gathered to discuss on the topic procedure on relating to making of will, and the speaker of the day to enlighten on the topic is Vandana Sharma Bhandari ma'am. I would like to briefly introduce certain aspects about ma'am. That ma'am pursued an education in BSc LLB and got enrolled as an advocate in Bar Council of Delhi in the year 1999. She is also the member of Supreme Court Bar Association of India, and she is also an advocate on record. She started her practice in 1999 and has experience of over 20 years representing the matters at Supreme Court, High Court, at various tribunals, and different authorities. She has vast experience in dealing with civil and criminal matters, and having discussed all this, ma'am, it is very brief and precise to say upon the activities that you do. But without taking much time of yours, with your permission, we would proceed further with today's topic.
yeah. Thank you, Sagar. First of all, good evening, friends. I would like to thank Eagle Saver for giving me this platform to share my knowledge with all of you. As Sagar told you that today's topic is will, तो एक बड़ा ही अच्छा सा दृष्टांत है महाभारत का जो मैं आप सब लोगों के साथ शेयर करना चाहती हूँ। और जो आप सब लोग जानते होंगे कि जब युधिष्ठिर जी को प्यास लगती है वनवास के, जब वो वनवास में होते हैं और उनको प्यास लगती है तो अपने भाइयों को भेजते हैं अपने लिए जल लाने के लिए। और जब सारे भाई चले जाते हैं और वापस कोई नहीं आता तो युधिष्ठिर जी खुद जाते हैं और वहां पर वो जाके देखते हैं कि उनके सारे भाई बेसुध अवस्था में पड़े हैं। और तब उनका और यक्ष का प्रश्न उत्तर संवाद होता है, जिसमें यक्ष एक प्रश्न पूछते हैं और प्रश्नों के साथ कि संसार का सबसे बड़ा आश्चर्य क्या है, जिसका उत्तर युधिष्ठिर जी देते हैं कि संसार का सबसे बड़ा आश्चर्य ये है कि हम अपने आसपास रोज मृत्यु होते हुए देखते हैं, पर हम अपने आप को अजर और अमर मानते हैं। यह जो प्रश्न तब पूछा गया था वह आज भी उसका वह प्रश्न और उत्तर उसका आज भी उतना ही सटीक है जितना वो उस टाइम पे। As we know that death is a universal truth and life is uncertain, although we do not believe that one day we all will have to go from this world. Now today's topic is relevant with the death, as properties of a dead person which devolves to living person is known as succession. So if we want to give our property as per our wish to our legal heirs or to whomsoever we think are entitled for our properties, we should make a will. In legal language, will is a legal declaration of our intention of about distribution of our properties after our death. As we know that there are various religions in India and Succession Act is applicable to each of them as per the law applicable to them. Whether it's Christian, for Christian it's different, for Muslims it's different, for Parsis and Jews it's different, and for Hindu it's different. Today I am only taking up topic with regard to Hindus and making of will, the procedure relating to will, making of will by the Hindus. Now along with will, as I told you that will is a legal declaration of a person's intention how his properties will be distributed to the legal heirs or to anyone else to whoever he wants to give his properties. Along with will, there are other definitions which are also required to be known by us. That is codicil. Codicil is an instrument which is attached with the will if a person completely change its will or only wants to alter or make additions in the will, and that codicil is also required to be attested and signed by testator as well as the witnesses. Now, probate and letters of administration are also two words which we must know. Probate is of a will. Probate is used when a person, a testator, appoints an executor in his will that how his properties will be distributed. That person is liable to distribute the properties to the legal heirs of the testator. If testator don't engage any person executed in the will, in that case, the beneficiary can apply to the court for letters of administration. Now, there are four types of will. We can divide the will into four parts. One is unprivileged will, which is made by general public civilians. Then there is privileged will. Privileged will is made by the persons who are in army at the time when they are on the place on their job. Privileged wills are actually made orally. So if these are made orally by them in front of somebody else, in front of their colleagues, these are also valid wills. Unprivileged wills, which are made by, we can say, civilians by us, these should be in written, attested by two witnesses at least. Then there is a contingent will, which depends on the condition of a will. Like if father gives after his death, he wants that property should go to his son, but before that, his wife will have the life interest on that property. This is a contingent will. Then there is onerous bequest, whereby obligations are imposed on the beneficiaries, and these will go, both of these things will go together, obligations as well as the benefit which will accrue because of that will. For example, if shares are there and some part has to be paid by the testator, which later on after his death will be paid by the legal heirs of the testator, and only after that they will get. So this is onerous bequest. Now the conditional bequests, which are immoral or based on some impossible conditions, which are vague, ambiguous, which are not specific or uncertain, are void wills. So these wills are of no use, and the property will revert as per the law applicable to the testator to their legal heirs. So we can divide the procedure of making of these wills into four parts. First is capability, which is as per section 59 of the Indian Succession Act, that a person should be major and of sound mind. The other is execution. The key part is execution and attestation. C is alteration and revocation, and D is probate of will or letters of administration to be applied to the court as the case may. Now the first part is capability. So, for a person who can make a will, he should be sound. He should be of sound mind as of major and major. A person who are deaf, dumb or blind, they are also entitled to make will. A blind person cannot attest a will. That should be remembered. A person who is insane can make a will during the intervals when he used to be of sound mind. Will by a person in the state of intoxication is void. So if a person goes to a lawyer, have some drinks, and then they draft will or makes will, that will be void. Will which are obtained by fraud, coercion, or undue influence, or under importunity are also void. But the onus lies on the person who will object at the time of probate of will or letters by grant of letters of administration to prove that in fact there was some fraud. Mere allegation will not suffice. There are some judgments which I will refer in the last of this session. A person detention and if he is pressurized for making a will, that will be void. The second part is execution and attestation of will. The testator shall sign the will or it shall be signed by some other person under the instructions of the testator. If suppose a testator is incapable of making a will and he directs somebody else that he should sign on his behalf, that will is also legal. Now, will shall be attested by two or more persons. The mandatory condition is that at least two witnesses should be there. So, more than two person, how can more than two person can witness this will? Is one can draft and the other and the will can be notarized and it can also be attested by another witness, each of whom has seen the testator sign or testator personally informed about his sign on the will. So any of the conditions shall be there. All witnesses shall sign in presence of the testator. But it is not necessary that all the witnesses should sign at same time. And there is no particular form of attestation is there. A will is not required to be registered as per Indian Registration Act, but it is always advisable that will should be registered to avoid any future dispute among the legal heirs or the co-sharers. Now, the alteration and revocation of will can be revoked or altered as many times as the testator or as the executor wishes. There are no limitations prescribed. A will can be revoked by giving a declaration in writing that he is withdrawing the earlier will, and by way of tearing the will or by burning the will or by making some other will. The previous will get revoked automatically. Now, alteration of the will is possible. Alteration will be legally treated is valid if it is countersigned by the testator as well as the witnesses of the will. It should be a footnote should be given or marginal note can be given at the end of the will that these particulars has been changed or added or some alteration has been done by the testator, but it should be attested by both the witnesses, by all the witnesses who were present, who have signed the will. This once execute the overriding effect of the will be that once a petitioner proves that execution of another will is duly proved in the court, then absence of recital that earlier will has been revoked has no relevance. So earlier will automatically gets revoked or becomes redundant because latest will represents last will and wish of the testator. This has been held by the Honorable Supreme Court in Mahesh Kumar versus Vinod Kumar. This is 2012 4 SCC 387. Now, a will can automatically get revoked if it is made by some unmarried person at the time of his marriage. This is as per section 69 and 70 of the Indian Succession Act. So, an unmarried male or female who has made a will when and after making of will they get married, in that case the will gets automatically revoked. Now, if a person wants to give his properties to some religious or charitable trust, in that case, he is required, and if any legal heirs or close relatives are there, in that case, section 118 of Indian Succession Act applies, because if any near relatives are there of the testator, in that case, what is required is will should be made, will should not be executed not less than 12 months prior to death of the testator. So if will is made more than and 12 deposited with the lawful authority within 6 months from the date of its execution. Now, the important things which we must kept in our mind while one person comes to us for taking our advice, that will should always be made in the language known to the testator, known to the person whose will has to be made, because it should be in simple and unambiguous language, should be clear, should be specific. If there is any kind of doubt, or it's not specific, or it's unambiguous, that there is no benefit of making a will. In that case, the will becomes void and the properties will devolve as per the Succession Act applicable to the testator. Now, one must know the law which is applicable to the testator. Suppose in Hindus, as per Hindu Succession Act, if a man dies leaving behind his parents, his spouse and his two children, then property will go devolve. If he dies in this state, property will devolve in equal shares to class 1 heirs, that is son, daughter, wife and mother. So all of them are equally entitled to the properties of the person. Now, if it's a case of Christians and he died in this state, in that case 1/3 goes to the spouse and remaining 2/3 usually goes to the descendants in equal parts, whether it's children's, grandchildren's or great grandchildren's. It's not stepwise, but all are equally entitled for the from the 2/3 shares. Now, if a person wants to give more than 1/3 to his spouse, then it is required that we must be aware of the law applicable to the person who has come to us for seeking our advice or making will. Because if one is Mohammedan, in that case, in some sects, a Mohammedan is not entitled to make will exceeding 1/3 of his properties. 2/3 will always go to his descendants. So we should be aware that which law is applicable to whom, the person who has come to us for seeking our advice. Now, if properties are movable, in that case, law of domicile applies on the movable of property like bank accounts, FDs, shares, securities. In that case, one can apply to the court where the person who made a will was residing. But if will is related to immovable properties, in that case, law of the land should prevail. And the probate or letters of administration will be required from the court under whose jurisdiction the properties are lying. Suppose a person has various properties, immovable properties at different parts of country or in various countries. In that case, it is advisable that he should make different wills for different properties at different countries, because it will be easy for beneficiary to apply for probate or letter of administration, as the case may be, from those courts. And at some time it is required that beneficiaries are required to pay the court fees, and the court fees is usually taken on the entire properties which were mentioned in the will. So while making separate will for separate properties, if somewhere probate is not required and property devolves automatically, or mutation comes without any requirement of probate or letters of administration, in that case, it will save the beneficiary from paying the stamp duty or court fee, as the case may be. Now, if the person who is making will is appointing some executor, the executor must be young. It's not of his age. Suppose a 70 or 80 years old person makes a will and he appoints an executor of his age. God knows who will die prior to him or how the things will be done. So it is always advisable that executor must be young, 20 or 25 years younger to the testator. Now, there are some judgments on this aspect, which are it's Kumar Harish Chandra Singh versus Bansi Tulasidhar Mohanty, it's AIR 1965 SC 1738, whereby object of the attestation is to protect the executant from being required to execute a document by the other party thereto by force, fraud or undue influence. So Supreme Court held that what is the object of attesting of the will, so that it should not be under due pressure or force. Now, second is AIR 1969 SC 1147, which is ML Abdul Jabbar versus H. Venkat Shastri. For attestation, it is essential that witness should have put his signatures animo attestendi. This is for the purpose of attesting that he has seen the executant sign or has received from him a personal acknowledgement of his signatures. Then sometimes will is challenged on the ground that some hires has been excluded. So in AIR 2003 Supreme Court 3109, it was held that it is excluding a legal hire does not make will unnatural. If and in another judgment 2009 2 SCC 315, when a probate is granted, it binds the word as a whole, because if judgment on probate or letters of administration is a judgment in rem, that binds the whole word, while a judgment in a suit is a judgment in personam, which binds the parties only. Now, if a person goes to the court for applies for probate or letters of administration, so initial burden is on the propounder or the petitioner to prove that will is genuine. If it produces attesting witnesses before the court and court satisfies, and the objectors, now the party who is objecting on the will, they now responsibility or onus lies on them to prove that will was obtained by fraud or the person was under undue influence for making to make the will. Now, a proof of will stands on a higher degree in comparison to other documents. So these must be clear. There must be clear evidence of the attesting witness to other. There must be clear evidence of the attesting witness or other witnesses that the contents of the will were read over to the executed, and after admitting the same to be correct and genuine, the testator put its signatures on the will. So it is only after the executant put his signatures on the will, the attesting witnesses shall put their signatures in presence of the executant. It is always advisable that a testator should not bring the beneficiary to the registrar court, or will should not be drafted in front of beneficiary, and attesting witnesses should not attest in front of beneficiary, because otherwise it can be presumed that testator was under the influence of beneficiary. Now, the attesting witnesses who are signing, they cannot take any gift from the testator. That taking of gift by them will be a void condition, although it will not create any effect on attestation of the will. Now, one famous judgment on succession is one. This is relating to Mrs. Maneka Gandhi and Indira Gandhi. When Mr. Sanjay Gandhi died in the state, and their marriage was under Special Marriage Act, so it was held that as the parties were Hindu Succession Act will be applied on them, while Maneka Gandhi took a stand that as their marriage was under Special Marriage Act, so Hindu Succession Act won't apply. So as per Hindu Succession Act, Mrs. Indira Gandhi was also entitled of 1/3 of properties of Sanjay Gandhi. So the matter went to the court, and court held that as both the parties were Hindu, Sanjay Gandhi and Maneka, so Hindu Succession Act will apply, and 1/3 share of Sanjay Gandhi was declared to be given to Mrs. Gandhi, who later on relinquished his one-third share in favor of Mr. Varun Gandhi. One more famous judgment is of Krishna Kumar Birla versus Rajendra Singh Lodha, whereby Priyambada Birla made his will in favor of his chartered accountant Mr. Rajendra Singh Lodha with a specific note therein that in case Rajendra Singh Lodha expires, then this her properties will go to son of Mr. Lodha. In this case, the jurisdiction of probate court is only limited or confined only to decide genuineness of the will. The probate court cannot go to see whether the person who made will, the testator, was having the capability or income to earn to get that property or not. It is not under the jurisdiction of the probate court. So, if sometimes a question in one of my case, probate petition, a question issued was framed by the judge that whether the property under the will was self-occupied, self-owned property of the testator or not. So thereafter an application was moved for removal of that issue, as probate court has no jurisdiction, or its jurisdiction is only confined to check the genuineness of the will. As per today's scenario, and if we want to save our children, or we are having something in our mind that a person who is not having that much of the amount, and we want to give our self-earned property to that person to whom we think is deserved to get some amount, in that case it is very much required that we should make will and describe what amount will go to whom. So this जो दृष्टांत मैंने महाभारत का दिया वो इस एस्पेक्ट पे था that we don't know what is our lifeline and when by what time we'll alive. So it's always suggested that we all should make a will if we want that our property should go as per our wishes to the person who is deserving candidate. So this was on my part. If anyone wants to ask any question, they can ask.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please repeat the case law that Kumar Hari Consider versus his Supreme Court? What is this case law? Kumar
I'm unable to hear you. You are not audible.
Ma'am, the case law Kumar Harshidhar Bansidhar.
Yes.
The case law I want to know. It is 1961 Supreme Court.
This was relating to the object of the attestation. Why
the name of the person, Bansidhar and versus who?
is Kumar Chandra Singh versus Bansidhar Mohan. It's AIR 1965, Supreme Court 1738.
Versus Bansidhar who?
Bansidhar Mohanty.
And which year is this is absolute Jafar versus Venkat Shastri?
Sorry. Can you write your question in that note so that I can be able to?
Abdul Jafar versus Venkat Shastri, which year it is then?
It is AIR 1969. SC 1147.
Secondly, madam, you said that the class 1 here is father, wife, daughter and son. I mean mother, wife, daughter and son. But
Yes.
father is not included in class 1.
Father is a class second higher. So if there is nobody in class 1, then only
Ma'am, it's on the right hand side. There's a chat box. If you permit, ma'am, may I read the question?
Yes, yes, you can read that
Uh,
question.
Ma'am, kindly explain about Muslim law. Muslim will.
See, Muslim law is totally different. Muslim law, as per their succession, and they are able to only they can devolve one third of their properties as per their will, and two third will go to descendants. There are so many sects in Muslim, and it's divided in. If there is a chart given in Muslim personal act, so it will go by them. It's a very lengthy chart, so we will have to go through the statute.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Vandana ma'am.
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, as per the Muslim law, I am confused and I want to know that the gifted property can be sold out by the testator or not.
No, no, see, what I've read is that the Muslim can only make will only of one third of their property,
Yes, ma'am.
which will devolve to, which they can devolve to anybody else or to whomsoever they want, and two third will go to the descendants.
Yes, but there is I am facing the question that because there is a question in my life, my property is matter there, and for that I am confused that might be the property which can be.
Hasrat, the first question I told, the thing is that we'll have to see what law applies to you.
Yes.
See, Sunni, Shia, then Khoja, there are various persons are there in
Okay.
which they are divided. So, law applicable to them is different.
And there is also and there is a second thing also that Muslim male and Muslim female both have the different powers of doing gift, of making any gift.
So, see, today I was only concerned about Hindu law,
Okay.
law procedure.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in Muslim, there should be some different lecture, and
Yes.
I will advise you. You are an advocate.
Yes, ma'am.
In that case, I will advise you to go through the Muslim this personal act. There is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
special act on which you can find it out because it has been divided somewhere. Its power is given only to devolve 1/16 as per the succession act. As per
Yes,
their
the one third I have already read in the book of Mr. Jabwalas that it is mentioned in that only one third of
Mullah and Mullah.
Mr. Mullah and Mullah.
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, there's one more question.
Yes.
If tester is not capable to sign the will, then how someone else can sign on his behalf? Means,
No, see, if he is not having his hands,
right, ma'am.
so he can direct somebody else to sign on his behalf.
Right, ma'am. Okay.
Ma'am, there is one last question, one of question that the property which is gifted by a Muslim lady or whatever any other law or any other caste, that the property, the not movable property, unmovable property should be vacant and they should not have any burden like case or any other thing. So that property should like be the clear gift property, right, ma'am?
No, I am unable to understand your question. See, if a
Okay.
Hindu lady can make a gift of his property which has been devolved to her by as a co-partner, as her individual property, she is free to give that property to anybody, to anyone to whom she wants to give.
Okay.
Suppose a property comes to a lady from her husband, and through will of the husband that she is entitled to the property of husband, and thereafter she gifts that property to her one of the son. In that case, that is a valid gift.
Okay. Which are the essential condition except that the will should not be have the status of valid will? which of the important conditions?
The important conditions are that will should be made by the testator in sound state of mind, who should be major, and it should be attested by at least 2 witnesses.
Okay.
And at the time of probation or letters of administration, the attesting witness should come to the court and should be examined and certified yes that testator has signed in their presence, and they also signed. It is not necessary that that witnesses should be aware of the contention.
It is, I think, so prior condition that the witnesses should be aware of the contentions.
No. There is no condition that witnesses should be aware of the will to whom testator is gifting. What is required is that they must have seen the testator signing in front of them, or he has personally acknowledged that yes, he has signed this will.
But ma'am, if the signer of that will, the testator of the will, if is what say, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, illiterate, the person doesn't know how to read or write, and the person going to sign something told something as contentions, and the contentions are actually something else.
See, the person who is illiterate, if he is capable to know the contents of the will and has directed that these changes should be made in the will, in that case, that will is valid. There is one case, L. Chamanlal versus Ram Katori Devi, where this question arose. This is AIR 1972, Supreme Court 2296, whereby the testator or testatrix, who is illiterate person, intelligently understood contents of the will when it was read over to them, and they suggested some changes in the will. It was treated that the testator, although illiterate, was capable of making the will.
But during the lifetime of that person, illiterate person, but after the death of the illiterate person, what should be the effect on the legal heirs? If the testator died and the legal heirs,
Will always comes into effect after death of the testator.
sorry ma'am, I'm not able to hear.
Will always comes into effect after death of the testator.
Yeah, ma'am, can I say something? Ma'am, can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, will has to be executed within 12 months.
Hello.
Will has to be executed within 12 months.
This was in case of if a person has his near relatives, dear ones, his nephew, and he wants to give his property to some religious or charitable trust. Only in that case.
Otherwise, it need not be.
Only that case. Otherwise, there is no condition. A person can make will at the age of 35, and he can die at the age of 95.
Okay. But then, ma'am, the second question was probate. You said it has to be within 6 months. It should be deposited to a law firm.
It was under section 118. Then I am saying that if a person wants to give his properties to religious trust or charitable institution, and he also has his niece or nephews or his children, in that case, this condition is required to be followed.
That within 6 months he should deposit with a law
Yes.
firm.
This was only under section 118 when a person wants to give his properties to some religious or charitable trust.
Okay. And what is within 12 months? What is the thing of 12 months?
12 months, that suppose a person wants to give all his properties to charitable institution while he is having his own sons or daughters, and that in that case, suppose a bill is made, a bill should be made prior within 12 months. What is it? If it was more than 12 months has been left, then that will become void.
Okay. That's it has to be deposited.
And a person should take a wise decision or decision with cold mind that in fact he wants to give this property to a religious trust or charitable institute. So he will have to make the will again and again.
And what about madam, witnesses don't turn up? Like there are many cases where the person has later when he's expired.
Like on the testator, sir. Witness, if will is challenged, witnesses should come in court and depose that will was made or signed by testator in front of them. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to prove it.
Well, that means that the presence of witnesses is necessary. And
Yes,
what's the
witnesses will be here.
if the witness is dead, so we have to submit the
Yes, in that case, who has drafted the will or who has written the will, he can also come in witness now.
no, yes, okay, so that means these two things are requirements. Witness present, the witness is not there, then the person who is drafted the will, that person should be present.
Yes. He can also come in witness box.
But ma'am, nowadays present the situation is such, it should be off the record, and be a practice saying the witnesses don't turn up. That's
And then it will be difficult for the beneficiary.
if there is a way out that if the witness
Therefore, witnesses should be those persons who can come and depose.
Ma'am, is there a way out that this also will can be deposited with a lawful authority so tomorrow?
Yes, with registrar it usually deposited.
So then there are even if the witnesses don't turn up,
No, even in that case also, bill is registered. Even in that case also, the beneficiary is required to prove the bill if it is challenged.
okay. So there is no way out that they can deposit with the lawful authority.
There is no way out. Because a person, the objector can that it will has been made under influence or the person was in a mental distress. So onus lies on the person who is objecting. Mere allegation will not suffice. He will have to bring some material documents or evidence to show that testator was under mental distress or under pressure.
No, but that thing can be ruled out if the doctor certificate is attached with the will.
Yes, but in that case, you have to bring that doctor to the witness box.
If the certificate is there, the doctor present while registering the will, the doctor's certificate also is attached with the will. And so then also the presence
Yes,
of
in that case, that doctor is required to come to the witness box.
no, at the time of registration, this should come at the time of
I am saying, doctor, this certificate given by doctor is at the time when testator is going to make the will.
yeah, that's right. But at
So,
the time
doctor must have shown the person that yes, the testing witnesses has signed in front of him and the testator also was acknowledged that he has signed the will. So, position in that regard that testator he himself acknowledged that he has signed the will and attesting witnesses were present and signed in front of doctor will suffice the purpose.
but then the presence of the doctor is not required at the time of registration.
It's not mandatory, but it is always suggested that as many witnesses who can depose to the fact that yes, it was testator has made this will by his own decision without any coercion or pressure. It will be good for beneficiary.
But then ma'am, there's a risk factor. If the will cannot be deposited with a lawful authority, maybe within 6 months or 1 year as per will given for charitable institution, like charitable gives his property to charitable trust, he should deposit within 6 months. But
Yes, it is required.
But here in this case, what about the witness term outside, and then it will affect the will. If the person deposits the will with some lawful authority, then he makes the safety for the beneficiary.
Even if a will which has been made in favor of this trust or charitable institution, that can also be challenged.
In spite of it being deposited with the lawful authority,
Yes.
then 100% surety is not there for the person who's taking a will. My God. Because there are many cases where witnesses have turned hostile and they demand some money from the person. Okay, then only I'll come up. I don't have time, etc.
Inevitable situations.
It has become a pressure. So I just wanted to, that was the main point of attending this lecture also. So I wanted to know what is the definition of lawful authority. But since you're saying it cannot be deposited, then it's
The lawful authority is generally a registrar with whom we register the will.
who's the lawful authority? The registrar.
Some registrar office with whom we used to go to register the will.
Okay, that one is the lawful authority.
Any further question? Gandhi were Hindu, and this objection was raised by Maneka Gandhi that he was not Hindu while he was a Parsi. But later on, it was observed by the court that Sanjay Gandhi is a Hindu, and therefore Hindu law will apply on that. Hindu succession, they are governed by the Hindu Succession Act.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Special Marriage Act doesn't. Otherwise, Special Marriage Act.
Special Marriage Act will only apply when parties belong to different religions.
Okay, both are same religion. That doesn't apply.
Yes, one is Muslim and one is Hindu, or one is Christian or Parsi, like this.
No, there's a Supreme Court judgment where a Hindu girl got married to a Muslim guy, but she has no right in the property in spite of her marriage being under Special Marriage Act. There a Muslim personal law came into force. There was a Supreme Court judgment last year, and also the Law Commission also is silent. In 2018, there was a discussion, and still they have to act on it. So it is a big grey area so far.
Yes, sir. You are correct on that one.
Ma'am, there is one question. Only on the sole ground that more than 1/3 portion of the property has been gifted. From the one property, the 1/3 of part of the property is been more than 1/3. So on that only sole part, the will can be cancelled. The bakshish can be cancelled.
Yes, yes.
The bakshish the gifted.
Because when one person is not entitled to make bill more than the as per their personal act, in that case that will come void.
Okay. So well, I am facing that question. That's why I'm asking for that. And we are living in the property. In spite of that, the property has been gifted to my cousin auntie.
It belongs to actually to which sect the testator belongs. There are so many sects like Sunnis are having 4 parts, 4 sections they have been divided. Then Shias, then Khojas, which law applies to them, whether it is Hanafi or some other law. So everything will have to be looked into. Only thereafter one can decide.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So I'll refer to Mullah and Mullah's book.
Yes, that will be much.
Comment.
That is good.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I wish that again we have the pleasure to meet you again on this Google Meet.
Let's hope so.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it's so really we want to actually, so please give us time another time also.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Bye bye.
Ma'am, if it is convenient to you, may I read out another question?
Yes.
Is it possible that a person got his consent for signing the will, is under influence, like doesn't want to sign, but can he? Actually, the
Sir,
question.
I am unable to hear you as there is some echo of your voice.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you write down? Where is the chat box?
Ma'am, AIR 2003, Supreme Court Judgment 319, the excluding legal act does not affect the will. You did not name the parties, ma'am. Did you name the parties?
I have only judgment. Party name I forgot to mention.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, regarding the Priya and Birla case, it's a different matter altogether, like whether he was capable of earning the money or something. So the probable judgment is that he only looked for the genuinity of the will. He don't know whether he was earning or not. But in case of a nominee property, husband nominated the wife for his flat property. Husband died, the flat was transferred in the name of the nominee, that's the wife. Now when she died, she nominated her daughter. The sons are challenging the property, and she had also made a will. But for that property which was not earlier belonging to her, it came from the husband, that can be challenged, I think.
Generally, there is a law that nomination will not give right.
No, but in spite of that also, if he
If
makes
will
will
is
also,
there, then when you should bring it.
so in spite of being a owner of the flat through where the father makes a nomination to his wife, and when the father died, his children did not have
But
any
nomination doesn't give any right. So the son was also having equal share as of his mother.
So it can be that the sons-in-law have waived off their right when the mother was made the owner through nomination, and nobody.
He could have challenged.
If he has not challenged and later on the father died, he can make a will of that particular property of the which he got it through nomination.
Because whether the son was not aware of the fact that mother is a nominee and he is also having a right at the time. If there is a so many years has been passed in that case and mother made a will later on, then it will be treated as son has waived his right.
Okay. Now I think now there's a little clarity is required because I'm having a particular case on this, and the father died in 1986. He appointed his wife. The mother died in 2004. In 86, the mother became the owner, and the wife became the owner, and she died in 2004. But before that, she made a will on her daughter. When she died, now the sons are challenged. No, she died in 2014, and she made a will peculiarly the right to her daughter, but the sons are not challenging it, and the case is that she was not the rightful owner, she was just a nominee owner. And the son, so there is a sound advocate judgment that they have not released their rights, they are just as a trustee, the mother was the owner, so she cannot be.
In this case, son was required to come immediately after death of the father.
Oh, if the first son did not come, that means he has waived off his rights. And now the
There is a delay. Every action should be within some time limitation.
so that is right. Everybody has no objection for their mother being the nominee, and subsequently the flat.
He must have given some relinquishment deed at the time in favor of his mother. If he has given relinquishment deed in favor of his mother, then mother is entitled to make a will.
No, there is no relinquishment deed, but they did raise objections. So it can be deemed relinquishment, but they did not raise any objection. When the flat was transferred in the name of the mother in 1986. So that's the reason 2014 the mother died, and that's the reason the case has been come up. But from your part, they have waived off their rights. But they say that a nominee ownership, because you know that Priyambada, Birla, and these all these cases are contradicting with one another. Are you hearing, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Shekhar Srivastava has asked some questions. Can it be possible that the person got his consent for signing the will is due to influence on the testator? It will be taken as undue influence or under pressure. If testator has been made to sign by importunity or by requesting again and again, and the pressure has put on him the will in favor of any son of any other, that will be undue influence and putting a pressure. In that case, it is required that objection should be taken and it should be proved with.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Is the will without the proper stamp duty be valid?
Yes, ma'am. The question of Shekhar was, uh, is that possible? Actually, you have taken up that question, ma'am. But to repeat it, if the person got the consent for signing the will, has done that under influence, and if the tester does not want him to sign, then what is the situation? Like, advantage of the tester can be taken without hands, like with signature or with finger impression.
What I understood is that if a testator, if a person don't want to sign on a will, but under due influence, he is made to sign a will.
Yeah. Okay. That
Under
right.
that one.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
in that, suppose he has signed that will at that point of time, but later on he can make another will and can say that I am invoking that will or my will can.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
It's not that he will be under pressure all the time.
Actually, I understood it that manner. So,
Ma'am, signature of the testator is important or even the thumb impression will be okay?
So if testator is illiterate, in that case, then thumb impression can be put.
And it not be all the 5 fingers, only thumb impression.
So where much else you want to secure your will, because everyone knows that there are no meeting of two persons cannot have similar thumb impressions or finger impressions. So when bill is registered, no sub-register office used to put all fingers and thumb impressions taken over there.
so I hope now there are no more questions coming, as it's already 5:10 and ma'am has devoted double the time as what we talked upon. So, if anybody is still having,
Thank you all of you for giving your precious time.
Ma'am, just one question, ma'am. It should be left thumb or right thumb? For thumb impression.
Sir, it depends on this right hand thumb impression is for mouse and left hand thumb impression is for text.
And could you tell, ma'am, the audio group, what is the question, ma'am?
Right hand thumb impression or left hand thumb impression for text.
Oh, thank you.
so still if,
Okay, Sagar?
yeah, ma'am, just I would ask once to the participants.
I will thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge on your platform.
Actually, ma'am, I'm also, yeah, we are making small efforts, ma'am, to create a platform. Yeah, ma'am. So I would ask again to the attendees that do you have any other questions? So ma'am would be answering upon that. And if not, that we can proceed with the concluding session.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So ma'am, there are no more questions now. And I, Sagar Jadhav, thank you personally and on behalf of the entire team and the group that you devoted double the time and you agreed to took up this topic and give us the time and date at very short notice in spite of your busy schedule. So thank you very much for that. And
Thank you for following me for the last 10 days for doing this session.
yeah, ma'am, and thank you very much. And I look forward that you would be joining us ahead too for such cause. Ma'am, with your permission, we would conclude this webinar. Thank you. Thank you all. Stay connected with further updates would be coming up. Thank you very much.